Friends, I'm truly glad you're here today because what we're talking about matters deeply, especially if you depend on Social Security or other monthly benefits to keep your life steady. For many people, these payments are not optional or extra spending money. They are what keeps the lights on, the fridge stocked, and medications filled. Over the past day, many people have been startled by midnight deposit alerts, early pending payments, or the absence of deposits they expected to see. That kind of surprise can shake your sense of security very quickly. This conversation is for retirees, Social Security recipients, SSI and SSDI beneficiaries, widows and widowers, VA benefit recipients, disabled Americans, caregivers, and anyone living on a fixed income. If you woke up confused, anxious, or worried you missed something important, you are exactly who this message is for, and you are not alone. Why January deposits feel so stressful? January is not just another month on the calendar. It comes right after the holidays, when many people have already stretched their budgets to the limit. It's also the time when Medicare premiums adjust, cost of living changes appear, banks reset internal systems, and household expenses often rise. So when something unexpected happens with a deposit in January, it feels bigger than it would at any other time of year. A midnight alert or a missing payment doesn't just raise questions, it triggers fear. People start wondering if they did something wrong, if benefits are changing again, or if next month will be worse. That stress is real, and it deserves to be taken seriously. What triggered the midnight deposit confusion? Let me be very clear from the start. The confusion many people are experiencing right now was not caused by a mistake you made. It was not caused by missing paperwork, a forgotten update, or a sudden rule change. What triggered this situation is a combination of payment scheduling, Treasury processing, bank posting policies, weekends, and how modern banking systems interact with older government systems. When all of those layers overlap, deposits can appear earlier for some people, later for others, or show as pending without explanation. None of that means your benefits are at risk. It means the system is complicated, outdated, and uneven. Understanding how Social Security payments actually move. One of the most important things to understand is that Social Security does not place money directly into your bank account. There is a multi-step process involved. First, Social Security approves your payment internally. Then the U.S. Treasury releases that payment as part of a large electronic file. That file is sent to banks and credit unions across the country. Only after that does your individual bank decide when and how to post the money to your account. That final step is where differences appear. Social Security does not control it. Why some people see deposits at midnight. If you saw a deposit appear late at night or just after midnight, it does not mean a new program was approved or a surprise payment was issued. In most cases, it simply means your bank posts deposits as soon as it receives the Treasury file. Some banks do this automatically, even overnight. Others wait until the official payment date. Some show deposits as pending for a day or two. All of these behaviors are allowed, and none of them indicate a problem with your benefit. It's just how different financial institutions operate. Why your neighbor got paid before you. This is one of the hardest parts emotionally. You hear that a friend, neighbor, or family member received their payment, and you didn't. That can immediately make you feel like something went wrong. But here's the truth. Two people on the same benefit program with the same payment date can still see deposits at different times because they use different banks. Even two people using the same bank can see different timing depending on account type or internal processing rules. Comparison creates anxiety, but it doesn't reflect reality. How January payment schedules are set. On paper, Social Security payment schedules are very clear. Retirement and SSDI benefits are generally paid based on your birth date. People who started receiving benefits before May 1997 usually receive payments earlier in the month. SSI is typically paid at the beginning of the month unless that date falls on a weekend or holiday. When that happens, payments may shift slightly. These rules haven't changed. What changes is how banks handle the release once the Treasury sends the funds. Why COLA and Medicare changes. Add confusion. January is also when cost of living adjustments show up. Sometimes the payment amount looks different because of a COLA increase. At the same time, Medicare Part B premiums may be deducted, which can offset that increase or even reduce the net amount. When people see a number that doesn't match what they expected, it can cause alarm. But in most cases, this is simply the result of routine adjustments that happen every January. Special situations that affect timing. Some groups experience more complex timing than others. Widows and widowers receive benefits based on the record they are drawing from, not necessarily their spouse's old schedule. Disabled adult children are tied to a primary record holder. People receiving both SSI and SSDI may see two deposits on different days. VA benefits follow a completely separate system and timeline. Representative payees add another layer of processing. None of these situations mean something is wrong. They simply involve more steps. Why social media makes this situation feel worse than it is. One of the biggest challenges right now is not the payment system itself, but the flood of misinformation spreading online. Social media platforms move fast, and emotionally charged posts move even faster. When people see claims about a secret January bonus, an emergency early payout, or warnings that payments will suddenly stop next month, fear takes over before facts have a chance to catch up. These posts are often shared by people who are just as confused and scared as everyone else, not by official sources. Unfortunately, fear spreads quicker than reassurance, and algorithms reward dramatic headlines, not accurate explanations. The reality is much calmer and far less dramatic. What we are seeing is standard January payment processing combined with different bank posting policies. There is no confirmed universal early payment, no hidden program, and no sudden cutoff coming next month. How panic spreads faster than truth. Fear has a way of multiplying, especially when money is involved. When someone posts that they received a deposit early, others immediately wonder why they didn't. When someone posts that they didn't get paid yet, others worry that something is wrong. This cycle creates a chain reaction where anxiety feeds more anxiety. People start checking their accounts repeatedly, refreshing screens, losing sleep, and imagining worst-case scenarios. None of this happens because people are irresponsible. It happens because income security is tied directly to survival. Social media often removes context, and without context, even normal system behavior can look like a crisis. What to do if you haven't seen your payment yet? If your payment has not appeared yet, the most important thing you can do is pause and breathe before assuming something is wrong. Social Security follows what is called the 3-business-day rule for missing payments. Business days do not include weekends or federal holidays, and this detail matters more than most people realize. Many delays resolve on their own once banks complete processing or when weekends pass. Calling Social Security immediately after a scheduled date usually does not speed anything up and often adds unnecessary stress. If 3 full business days pass after your scheduled payment date and nothing has posted, then it is appropriate to contact Social Security for assistance. Why waiting a few days can save you stress. It may feel counterintuitive, but waiting those 3 business days is often the healthiest choice. Banking systems process millions of payments in batches, and slight delays are common, especially around weekends, holidays, or system updates. Many people who panic on day 1 end up receiving their payment naturally within a day or two. Giving the system a short window to correct itself prevents hours of worry and frustration. Waiting does not mean ignoring the issue. It means responding calmly and strategically instead of reacting out of fear. How to prepare before calling Social Security. If the 3-business-day window passes and you do need to call Social Security, preparation can make the experience smoother and less overwhelming. Have your Social Security number available, along with your bank's routing number and your account number. Know the exact amount you expected and the date you usually receive your payment. Writing these details down ahead of time helps you stay calm during the call and ensures you don't forget anything important. Asking questions does not mean you made a mistake. It means you are being careful and responsible with your finances. Understanding that questions are not failures. Many people hesitate to call because they feel embarrassed or worried they did something wrong. That feeling is understandable, but it is unnecessary. The system is complex, and it is designed in a way that often confuses even experienced professionals. Calling to confirm details or ask for clarity is not a failure. It is a reasonable response to uncertainty. You earned your benefits, and you have every right to understand how and when they arrive. The emotional impact of payment uncertainty. Beyond schedules and numbers, payment uncertainty has a real emotional cost. For many people, it affects sleep, appetite, focus, and overall health. It can trigger anxiety, depression, and feelings of helplessness. Some people are supporting spouses with health conditions, raising grandchildren, or managing disabilities of their own. Others live alone without a safety net. When income feels uncertain, it doesn't just affect bills. It affects dignity, confidence, and peace of mind. Feeling exhausted or overwhelmed by this does not mean you are weak. It means you are human. Why this stress hits. Fixed income households harder. For those living on a fixed income, there is little room for error. Rent, utilities, food, and medication costs do not pause just because a deposit is delayed. Even a short disruption can feel catastrophic. This is why timing issues hit so deeply. It is not just about money arriving late. It is about whether basic needs can be met without fear. Recognizing this reality is important because it explains why emotional reactions are so strong and why compassion matters in these conversations. A simple checklist to regain a sense of control. When things feel uncertain, small practical steps can help restore a sense of control. Start by checking your My Social Security account to confirm your payment status and direct deposit information. Carefully verify your bank details, because even one incorrect digit can cause delays. If your income changed significantly last year, ask about forms that may help adjust Medicare premiums. Review tax withholding if you use it so future deposits don't come as a surprise. Look into assistance programs for healthcare, prescriptions, food, or utilities if money feels tight. These steps don't solve everything, but they help you feel less powerless. Why small actions make a big difference. Taking even one small step can reduce anxiety. When you check information, make notes, or explore assistance programs, you remind yourself that you are not helpless. You are responding thoughtfully. Control doesn't always come from fixing the system. Sometimes it comes from understanding it well enough to navigate it with confidence. Protecting yourself from scams. During uncertain times, periods of confusion are prime opportunities for scammers. It is crucial to remember that Social Security will never threaten you over the phone, demand gift cards or wire transfers, or pressure you to act immediately. They will not scare you into compliance. Anyone who does that is not legitimate. Hang up, do not share personal information, and protect yourself. Scammers rely on fear and urgency, and the best defense is calm awareness. Why awareness is your best protection. Knowing how scams operate takes away their power. When you understand that legitimate agencies do not behave aggressively or demand secrecy, it becomes easier to spot fraud. Staying informed is not just about payments. It is about protecting your identity, your finances, and your peace of mind. What to expect. Moving forward. Looking ahead, slight variations in deposit timing will continue, especially around holidays and weekends. This is normal and has always been part of the system. There is no confirmed system-wide disruption at this time. Any major changes would require coordination between Social Security, the Treasury, Medicare, the VA, and Congress. Those changes would involve public announcements and clear guidance. Nothing of that scale happens quietly overnight. Why big changes do not happen in secret? Large government systems move slowly by necessity. They require planning, approvals, and public communication. If changes were coming that would affect millions of people, you would hear about them through official channels long before they happened. Understanding this can help reduce the fear caused by sudden online rumors. Why staying informed brings peace of mind. Understanding how the system works does not make it perfect, but it does reduce fear. When you know that timing differences are usually related to banks and processing rather than punishment or mistakes, you stop blaming yourself. Information gives you power. It allows you to respond thoughtfully instead of reacting emotionally. That sense of clarity can make a real difference in daily life. You are not a burden or a problem. It is important to say this clearly. Needing Social Security does not make you weak. Asking questions does not make you difficult. Wanting clarity does not make you a problem. You worked, you contributed, and you earned these benefits. You deserve to understand what is happening with your money and to receive it with dignity and respect. A final word of reassurance. If you saw a deposit early, it is almost certainly legitimate. If you have not seen yours yet, it is almost certainly still processing. This situation was created by timing and system behavior, not by anything you did wrong. Take a breath, stay grounded, and remember that you are not alone in this. You do not have to figure it out by yourself. Closing thoughts. Thank you for taking the time to read this and for trusting clear, calm information over fear. If this helped you feel more informed or less anxious, consider sharing it with someone who might be worried right now. We all deserve clarity, stability, and respect, especially when it comes to something as essential as our monthly income. Take care of yourself, and remember that understanding replaces fear one step at a time.